We're back, everyone. We're back.
Hello.
And I'm Daniel.
And I'm Julia.
And here we are, traveling the world. I know you may not have seen us last week, but we were busy doing things.
Doing things. Yeah, boring things. Our travel videos are much more interesting.
Right, and so were our travels. So let's get to it.
This is our second video for Ireland.
It is.
And
that
for
is
Dublin.
True. That is very true. This is the National Museum of Ireland, Decorative Arts and History. I promise I won't read every slide.
This museum is really cool. It is literally a 3-minute walk away from our hotel that we stayed at in Dublin.
So we walked on our hands.
It was nice. There's the outside of one of the buildings.
Yeah. So there's a good picture later on that'll show you kind of the scale of it all. But this feels like an entrance.
This is another side of the whole
why
building.
Have just one entrance if we're not that
they
small.
had several entrances actually.
All right, so let's
so
just start doing exhibits, right?
So their very first exhibit was actually a special installation for this woman here, Eileen Gray,
kind of architect,
yes,
interior designer,
and so a lot of these things are her own designs. There were actual models and stuff of some of the things that she did.
Gonna say that.
She actually had quite a few furniture kind of designs.
Yeah, a lot
too.
of furniture pieces.
So there we go. Yeah, some facades and things like that. So really cool. And of course she's Irish, so that's why she's being honored. Yeah. But anyway, moving on to yes,
clothing.
So this is one of those exhibits that are years long, and they just kind of add to it. So of course they have the fans and things like that. Ooh. But just attire that you would see Irish people wear over the years.
No, I shouldn't.
There we are.
So there's a giant courtyard here.
And so I believe we're on the side of the building that we took that initial picture of. We're actually in that building now. I
believe so.
Taking the picture out of the window. And so there's 3 buildings actually that
so they kind of link together. The fourth side, because it is a square, is staff only. So
yes. Probably where all their backstock is.
Well, I'm sure
they teach courses
or where they
there
do research.
Well.
I mean, so it is a full square. Me making a not square with my hands there. But the fourth side isn't something you can go into. So it's more like a U if you were going to walk through it, which is what we're going to do now. Back to the exhibits.
All right. So they start obviously some a little bit more ancient history, and
to be clear, all of these are full-sized objects. These aren't toys.
There aren't toys. There aren't miniatures.
Right.
No. These are full size. We had our really cool camera that day, so
we really did.
Yeah, it was really good. We planned it as if we planned it. So, and they had a Chinese exhibit to show how much the Chinese had actually influenced the Irish people from long ago. So they obviously had the images,
Sure.
Look at that. BC to AD is kind of cool. Some of these are gifts, so it's not like they were there for that long, just to be clear. Some of these were gifts.
But some of them were ancient gifts.
Yes. So they were very old gifts. And as you can see, it's more than just figurines, and there's
we only have 500 more slides. Hang on, everybody.
You can go a little faster.
A little faster?
Some silver, some screens, and
the bell.
This was really cool. That was kind of
clock, right?
Yeah, it's a clock / bell
so how do we
thing.
Show this? This is on multiple floors going through the building itself. So at different points you'll be walking along and you'll just get to a hallway and be like, and there's the bell.
And there's the bell. But that's kind of what you look for to know where you're at.
But it's so big. It's not like a grandfather clock that sits in the corner.
No.
It's 3-story bell.
Yes. And it goes through. So the building itself is about 3 to 4 stories, just depending. And it goes all the way through from top to bottom.
Right. You can see part of it on the ground floor. This is probably taken from maybe the second or third floor. Looking down to the second floor. I feel like that's what's happening here.
Yeah.
And that's
there you can see it. That's the ground floor. Yeah.
There's even more, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, so this was a really cool exhibit.
Please touch.
Ah, please touch. It was a please touch exhibit, and they had a lot of stuff. So we just picked a few of the cutest pictures
to show how interactive and kid friendly this is.
There were a lot of kids, so we're also trying to not pick pictures where there's kids in them.
Yeah, that's not great.
Yeah, so we have a few things here,
yeah,
different type of materials for people to. This is where the don't touch stops.
Right.
They don't want you touching
this. This isn't a miniature. I know that frame around it makes it look smaller than it is. This is a full-sized room that you cannot step in, no. But that's why it's all labeled with these little labels so you can look from outside. Full room.
And this would be like the Victorian era of Irish history.
And so you can see there's other ones. Very well apportioned.
Just to kind of give you an idea, so they had tons of these rooms on display.
They're just in a row. You just walk past them all.
So this is just a slight taste of what they
very
had.
Very demure. Very mindful.
A few other rooms. As you can see, we're getting a little bit more, teeny bit more modern era as the furniture changes.
Oh, we are just... All right, well, shall we approach the tough one?
So this is obviously a guest feature exhibit, and this is a single artist and her vision of the dark parts of Irish history, and it's obviously women in sweatshops, women who were pregnant and taken away and had their babies.
There's a lot of kind of Catholic Church doing not great things here. Let's show a few more.
And she uses textiles, clothes, material to kind of paint these images.
Right. Some of them were even made out of almost glass.
Mm-hmm. They talk about the babies with no names, and it was all the babies that were born in these places that were either purposely or due to unsanitary conditions just had died.
Yeah.
And a lot of these women would go to these places pregnant, have the babies, but because they were used, they were then used again, and of course would get pregnant again, and then this kind of vicious cycle kind of kept going.
It is a pretty adult concept.
It
was a pretty rough exhibit.
Mm-hmm. It was hard to get through without a dry eye.
Angry and sad.
Yeah. So, but it's part of the history.
Right, and I only knew like a fragment of this.
And it is a part of the history that we cannot deny. Right. And so I felt the way they presented it was actually, for the subject matter, tasteful in a way. But she didn't just stop there. She also talked about domestic violence in general. So it wasn't just these homes.
Yeah, there's a whole video of someone trying to walk like this,
kind of pushing on people on the fringes. How it was in everyday Irish homes.
Sure.
So that was her whole exhibit. But we don't want to end on a sad note.
No, that's an awful note.
No, we don't want to end on a sad note. But it was a very
powerful
informative,
moment, yeah.
Exhibit. Clothing is something that's huge. And so this is more the fashion of the olden days, but there was so many and kids again, so we had to slip right into the next one.
So Pac Fada. Now we're to sports and sports that are Irish. And this feels a lot like if you took like cricket/baseball and just said this should be more like golf. So you play it like cricket golf, or where it really matters if you hit a home run in the middle of the giant field. I'm trying to fuse them so that people from different reference points.
Yeah.
So it's not trying to get at a hole in one.
It's like they took a British sport and a Scottish sport, and they said, "Here's our sport. We're Irish." So.
I mean, yes.
I got that feeling.
I don't know which came first. I think that's an important chronology here. That I'm sure that the Scottish and Irish invented their sports, and then the British are like, you know what? We did it better.
Anyway.
That was snarky.
So as you can see, what the actual Pac Fada ball looks like over the years, and also trophies that they won over the years.
Sure.
So, because it has become an international sport, apparently.
Yeah, it's trying.
It's trying anyway.
And so they have other sort of...
Other that's more other sports, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Military history.
Yeah.
So they had that as well, all their military history.
This is quite the museum, right, everybody? You should go.
They're like, it's decorative arts and other things too.
And everything.
A million things. So, yes. I don't know too much about their military battles. So I wanted to just mention
one of the posters.
One of them
talked about what if the Spanish Armada had won. So basically, the invincible Spanish Armada was crushed by the British. Okay, we know these events, blah blah, but the Spanish, had they beaten the British, would have probably said, "Lower that Union Jack over there," and put up the Spanish flag, which would mean that England would have been Catholic.
Yep.
And probably the relationship between the subjugated England and Ireland, also Catholic, and Spain, also Catholic, would have been very different than the way the Protestant and Catholics interact in it. You see what I mean?
This brings into question how, depending on where you are, depends on the question that you ask. What if this certain event had not happened or had a different kind of outcome?
Right, this alternate history.
So,
but it's actually on the wall of the museum. I didn't just make this up. This was a poster that went through the entire thing. It was written small for me taking pictures of it, because there's a long scenario to explain the whole history.
Right. But it's great about that museum is that they don't just give you the facts. They don't just give you the information. They kind of take things further and they ask, the more
interesting,
thought-provoking questions. So anyway, moving on.
I liked that.
So some art, some history, also some of their beautiful artwork stuff that they also had, decorative arts, if you will.
I got swatted for that.
And just random parts of their history. And as you can see, material history again, from pottery to glass to musical instruments.
You can just see how it's raising above us. At this point, we are on one floor and we're looking up to another floor because there's just so much high ceiling kind of stuff.
And it's just all these kind of random single display things in the wall, and it has a description next to it.
They did not have spare space.
No, not at all. They used every inch of space that they could. That's right, centimeter. But so this is kind of the image I wanted to show, how it kind of has a V&A kind of feel to it.
There's just so much.
Yes.
The numbers correspond to indexing and things like that. They're not going to give up room.
No. So this would be our last picture, as you can see. Just
is it over already?
More of how they display the decorative art, but more importantly, the left side you can see that's actually the lobby.
We're on the second floor, looking through the glass.
Yes,
down to the lobby.
So and so those doors there that takes you out to that courtyard. So anyway, so this is the
second video from Dublin.
The next one may or may not. It'll have another.
It'll still be Dublin. More than two.
Yeah, and it's another wonderful.
Now, where we go after that, you'll never know.
You never will know. You couldn't guess. You couldn't guess. No,
never.
All right.
Till next time, everybody.